Reading Adam here, and this is going to be probably my shortest video I've made, unless I get rambling. But this is a book I read earlier this year. It took me not even a full day to read it, The Wealthy Barber by David Chilton. And I'm not trying to scam you. Look at that face. I'm not trying to scam you. Anyways, The Common Sense Guide to Successful Financial Planning. I'll tell you what I thought this was, and it's always funny when you think a book is going to be something, or a TV show or a movie is going to be something. Like you have this impression in your mind for some reason. And I thought, because he's the wealthy barber, right? Okay, he's a barber who's wealthy. In my little mind, I had thought that meant that he would be discussing how he made his tiny little know-nothing, his little barbershop business make bank. I thought it was going to be about how this barber became wealthy through his barbershop. And I thought that'd be an interesting story. However, it's nothing like that at all. It's just kind of like a basic financial planning guide. It's extremely basic. A lot of information is kind of dated, but the general principles are still good. Your savings should be automatic. Your investments should be long-term thinking. Don't be playing the market, trying to win big off of anything. The author is Canadian as well, and I don't think I've ever seen this book in the U.S., but you see it a lot in Canada. And anyway, there were two things that I did think were worthwhile from the book, and I'm glad that I read it just for the simple fact of two things, and sometimes books can be that way. Now, and this is why it's going to be a short video, because the two things are this. Make a will, have life insurance. It gets better. Make a will if you have assets. If you don't have any assets, just make a will so at least what you do have is not left up to the state to decide. But if you have assets, and the more assets you have, the more you need a will written up. And then you need life insurance if you have dependents. If you don't have dependents, you don't need life insurance. Who's it going to be for? Your life insurance is so that your dependents can live on as they were. Your life insurance replaces the productivity that you would have given your family, your dependents, had you still been alive and able to work. And the will is so that legally there is a set, easy way for your assets to be divided amongst whoever you want, rather than the state figuring it's going to take this, it's going to do this with that, etc. You just don't want the state involved if you die and you have assets to left over. Don't leave that up to the state. You could harm people that you wanted to help out. If you wanted to leave money to your grandchildren, if you wanted to leave money for your spouse or for your child or to some charity, or for your brother or sister, whoever you wanted to leave your assets to or divide it among, if you don't have a will, it's not going to happen. And that could cause a lot of problems for your next of kin down the road. So so that's a simple guideline. Get a will if you have assets, and life insurance if you have dependents. There's those two things. The reason why I bring those up from this book is because I've read maybe a dozen or so financial books, and I can't remember any of them talking about those two things. Those are two things that most people in the West have to consider and think about at some point. And the earlier you kind of get that on the books, the better. There's lots of little tricky things I'm sure that you can do, and you can talk to a lawyer, you can talk to a financial advisor. But these are some things that, at least for me, it stood out as like, okay, you're really adulting. You're getting your life in better order. You're taking care of business if you take care of those things based on your circumstances. Now, for me, I just have liabilities. I don't have any assets, so a will would not necessarily make sense. My only assets would be like the stuff I literally own, which is not worth very much. However, I do have a car that's paid out. Therefore, I don't want that just going towards. It's a way to kind of protect your asset, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you're protecting your asset so that if I suddenly died, my car and all my stuff is not auctioned off to pay off my liability, my debts that in my name, and then my family is left with nothing. Which is another reason why I need life insurance, because I I don't want to get a bad life insurance and then when I die, God forbid I die, but then everything I had and owned, everything is sold at auction by the government or whatever, just to pay off student loans. And how sad is that? That you end up dying, and what little you had, which was barely anything because you didn't really make any money anyway, is sold to strangers. God knows what, maybe even just thrown in the trash heap because of a debt that you incurred as a kid, getting an education that never ended up doing anything, only to die so the education is further worthless because all that knowledge, stayed in here, didn't come out anywhere. And it's unbelievable what a horrible, inhumane, terrible scam it is, enslaving generations of kids in a debt that will not just affect them, but will definitely, for many who don't get wills made, who don't have life insurance, for many, their families will be affected eventually, because we're probably the least healthy generation, millennials, and then maybe Generation Z is even less healthy, given the amounts of processed foods and heavy carbs and terrible stuff that is available to everybody. So I don't know. That's kind of a bleak kind of last thought. I didn't want to extend this too much, but I did want to recommend. You don't even have to read the book. Sorry, David, but I mean the book is like, I think this was published 1990, 1980. Let me see. 1989. Okay, so 1989. One frustrating thing here. Let me bring some of that. One frustrating thing about this book is I'm looking up inflation by decade, because there's a chapter in the book where there's a couple people bitching about they don't have money to save, money to invest, blah blah blah. They're spending all their money, and so he's like, "Oh, how much do you guys make? How much do you make? How much do you bring in every month?" And let me see. Let me see if I can actually get it here. This is very impromptu, this video. It just suddenly occurred to me. And I just wanted to find out, because he uses his teaching strategy is telling stories. And I'm like, there's one part of this that kind of pissed me off a little bit. Okay, so he's talking about this person, Sue. Or is it Dave? Okay, let me see if I can find this. I thank you for your patience, by the way. He's talking about RRSPs, which is the Canadian version of the 401k. I'm thinking this is where it is. So this is 1989, and if Sue's articles, what's your combined monthly take-home pay? So he's Dave. What's your combined take-home pay? Okay, their take-home pay is 3,300 a month. That's their take. That's their take-home. That's not their gross. That's their take-home. It's their net. So they're like, oh, just 3,300. So yeah, save 10% of that. So now you have $2,970 a month to play with. Okay, well, let's see here. With my pension adjustment, so this person has a pension, I'll be able to contribute about $200 a month to a spousal RRSP. Sue should be allowed $150 a month, so that's $350 from $2,970. That's $2,620 left over. Our life insurance premiums total $70 a month. That's $2,550. What's your monthly mortgage payment? We selected a 5-year term and 15-year amortization period. So our monthly payment is a mere $711. And in case you're wondering, and I'm sure you are, our mortgage is for 70-something thousand. And why didn't you arrange to make weekly payments like Roy suggested? Blah, 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 blah. Property tax, $100 a month. Car insurance, the same. The cost of running a home, insurance against fire and theft, heat, hydro, water, cable, TV, phone, etc., etc. The average $300 a month. All that adds up to another $500. Hey, we're down to a little over $1,300. I exclaimed anxiously. So, what's the problem? Jimmy asked. $1,300 doesn't sound like much to me, I retorted, disconcerted. I've got to pay for groceries and entertainment out of that. Plus, I have to save for a new car and clothes and a vacation. It won't be easy. So he responds here, 1, $1,300 a month for groceries, entertainment, and card expenses is plenty. 2, think about what you're accomplishing here. You're saving 10% and investing it in a well-selected growth vehicle so that someday the finer things in life will be yours. You're doing an excellent job of ensuring that your retirement will be happy when you're ridding yourself much more quickly than most people of your biggest liability and the biggest drain on your monthly cash flow, your mortgage. Your estate plan is properly taken care of. If either you or Sue dies, the other will not suffer great financial hardship. My third point is one that Roy hasn't emphasized. Most cases, the monthly sacrifices associated with implementing your financial plan will stay level or decrease while your income continues to climb because your living estate is constantly increasing, blah, 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 blah. So, why did that kind of annoy me? And I should note, because this is a combined take-home pay, so you're thinking, oh, okay, one of them makes, a mere 1,000, the other makes like 2,300 or something like that. It's really Dave does the work and Dave makes the money, and then Sue just sells some things on the side. She's a freelancer, so she's not really making that much money. So 3,300 dollars in 1989. Let's look at the inflation calculator. So I'm just going on a website, just random, I just Googled it. So remember, this is their take home. This is what they bring. This is after the taxes are removed and everything else. 3,300 in 1989 would be 6,865 in 2020. Huh. 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 Okay. Can any of you imagine complaining about things, finances, if you brought home, not, after taxes, $6,865 a month. All right? 6,865. 6,865 times 12 is 82,380 take home. That's net. That's net. So if you have money troubles and your net is 82,000, even today, I mean, well, no, I should say today, yes, because that should be the inflation calculation. These are just a couple of basic people. This is like his example of just normal, everyday, um, working class people. Just 3,300 take home. Um, that's a lot by inflation standards. That's a lot. Their take home is more than my take home today um, in 2020. So my video cut off when I was just going back and forth, detailing the numbers. But essentially, I wanted to close with, and this was an opportunity for me to learn how to stitch these videos together for the purpose of upload. But I wanted to close by saying a lot has happened over the years. There's no mention in this when he covers the expenses that a family experienced in 1989. There's no mention of student loans. They've probably long been paid off at that point, and it's just not a concern now. Even if you adjust for inflation, the $711 from his mortgage to, which would be $1,600 today, and this is U.S. dollars, it's not Canadian dollars, but Canadian, maybe around 2,000 perhaps would be the mortgage of a home. And I know in Canada, I believe the mortgages monthly are higher than that. Especially many of the cities, it's just getting to a point where people can't really afford to live. And this is where I learned about a guy who's Michael Hudson, an economist, and I wanted to start reading his books because he kind of talks about how we're becoming a society where finances are, we're a financially dominated society, where today largely the wealth production is in finance. People are increasingly decreasing their spending on stuff in order to service their debt. And we're becoming a society where paying back your loans is where the majority of the money is going. So a lot of money is getting stuck in homes, in student loans, and private credit, private debt. So things are not getting better financially for anybody anytime soon. Debt is a massive, massive problem. And it's telling that in this book, he's talking to these people, 1989, so that's boomers. He's talking to them as if they all, their problem is not that they don't make enough money. Their problem is they need to put their money in the right place. Today, the problem is you don't make enough money. That inflation calculators just demonstrated that your regular working class guy made 3 times as much as your regular working class guy now. The only people I know of who are making that kind of money are people who are in government jobs in Canada, or people who have high-end, high-skill jobs. So where I work currently, the only people making that kind of money are the people who are the top salesmen. So it's just kind of weird to me that this is just sort of the way that things are going. It's weird to me in that it feels unjust, but none of us has the power to do anything about it. It's really unfortunate. So you can read this. The best you can do is try to spend as little as you can. Be frugal, middle-aged guy, and get yourself a will if you have assets. If you do, I don't know how many people these days my age have assets, but if you do, get a will. And if you have dependents, and again, I don't know how many people my age this day and age have dependents, but if you do, make sure that you have some kind of life insurance because your family, your dependents will be very hard off uh, if you don't. And I trust me, I know like it's difficult for me to justify spending money on something like that. You got to cut every corner you can. And at the end of the day, it's one of those things that sometimes you just have to make a decision to be a little bit poorer in the off chance that something does happen to you. You need to have enough to pay back your liabilities, all that student debt you have, and any other debt you have, and then still have enough left over so that your family can actually live and get back on their feet and not worry about um, becoming a burden on your next of kin who still survives. But, what if you don't have parents or brothers or sisters who could take on your family all of a sudden? So that's not something you want to put your family through. The reason why you are working now is so your family doesn't have to go through that. So I'm no insurance salesman, but it's sometimes you got to choose to be a little bit poorer so that your if something should happen, your family does not become destitute. And with that, I'm going to end this. I'm going to see if I can stitch again this video in with the other video that cut off in the middle of a rant. And I will leave it at that. This is Reading Adam. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.